Hello, Raiders fan. The NFL offseason is heating up, and one of the biggest questions right now is, what's next for Los Angeles Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford? A new report from Vic Tafur of The Athletic points to the Las Vegas Raiders as a team that could make a serious move for him in a trade. Before we dive into the latest updates, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss breaking NFL news. All right, let's get into it. Stafford, now 37, has been a key player for the Rams since they brought him in back in 2021. In his very first season, he led the team to a Super Bowl victory, proving he was exactly what they needed. But now, things are shifting. The Rams have officially given Stafford's agent permission to explore trade options with other teams. While both Stafford and the Rams have expressed interest in continuing their partnership, one major issue is standing in the way: his contract. With no progress on an extension, rumors are flying and fans are left wondering, will Stafford stay, or is his time in LA coming to an end? Matthew Stafford's contract situation has taken a complicated turn. Back in March 2022, he signed a 4-year, $160 million deal with the Rams, set to last until the 2026 NFL season. A massive $130 million of that was guaranteed, with $63 million fully locked in at the time of signing. But here's where things get interesting. In July 2024, his contract was restructured, turning it into what is essentially a 1-year, $40 million deal for the 2024 season, with fewer guarantees moving forward. Now, here's the real problem. Stafford gave up his 2025 guarantees, and the only guaranteed money left on his deal is a $4 million roster bonus in 2025. That's it. Just $4 million over the next 2 years. And for a quarterback of his caliber, that's not enough. It's clear he'll want a reworked contract, one that secures his financial future. But let's not forget, Stafford is still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. If the Raiders can pull off a trade, it could be a game-changer for them. The big question is whether the Rams are truly open to moving him, or if they're just letting him test the market to gauge his value before making a final decision. Either way, one thing is clear. Stafford's future is up in the air, and the stakes couldn't be higher. The situation with Matthew Stafford and the Rams is reaching a critical point. They can still sit down at the negotiating table and try to work out a deal, but if things fall apart, the Raiders should absolutely explore bringing him in. When you look at the available quarterbacks in free agency and trade talks, Stafford is easily the best option. Yes, he's getting older, but there's no doubt he still has at least 2 solid years left. And let's not forget, he's a Super Bowl champion. He knows what it takes to win. His play style? A fearless gunslinger who delivers under pressure. Just look at what he did last season. The Rams, led by Stafford, came dangerously close to pulling off a shocking upset against the Philadelphia Eagles on the road in brutal snow conditions. Even in that freezing, relentless storm, Stafford still threw for over 300 yards, proving he can compete at the highest level. For the Raiders, there's no doubt about it. We have to explore every option at quarterback. And if Stafford is truly available, he might just be the missing piece to take this team to the next level. When it comes to finding an upgrade at quarterback, Matthew Stafford stands out as a clear, immediate improvement. Despite his age, he's still playing at a high level. Just last season, he put up 3,700 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, and only 8 interceptions, all while leading the Rams to an NFC West title. That's the kind of experience and leadership any team would want. But here's the tricky part. What would it take to get him? The Raiders can't afford to give up too much in a trade. At best, a 3rd-round pick might be reasonable, mainly because any team trading for him will have to rework his contract and commit to a significant amount of guaranteed money. Right now, Stafford has 2 years left on his deal, with a $49 million cap hit in 2025 and a $53 million cap hit in 2026. That's a lot of money. So any team taking him on will have to find a way to adjust those guarantees and make the numbers work. The good news for the Raiders? We have the second most cap space in the NFL, and with the league recently increasing the salary cap by around $22 million, we have the money to make big moves. But here's the challenge. It's not just about Stafford. The Raiders have several other roster needs to address, so every dollar has to be spent wisely. The Raiders may have a lot of cap space, but they also have a lot of decisions to make. Several key players are set to hit free agency, and bringing them back has to be a priority. And then there's Max Crosby, a cornerstone of this defense, who, believe it or not, doesn't have any guaranteed money left on his deal. Let's be real. A player of Crosby's caliber isn't going to step on the field without securing some guarantees. So, while the money is there, it has to be spent wisely, and that's where things get complicated. Would Matthew Stafford be a good fit for the Raiders? The team has a lot of needs, but at the same time, the front office might take an aggressive approach. Some believe Pete Carroll, who only has 3 years left on his contract, is in win-now mode and could push for a move to bring in a veteran quarterback like Stafford. From a pure football standpoint, Stafford makes a lot of sense. He still has plenty left in the tank, and if the Raiders structure his contract right, they could lock him in for 2 years, add some guaranteed money, and have a reliable QB option while keeping flexibility for the future. And that's the key. Having a guy like Stafford under center would give the Raiders breathing room in the NFL draft, allowing them to focus on other pressing needs without scrambling for a long-term quarterback solution. If the Raiders bring in Matthew Stafford, it completely changes their draft strategy. They wouldn't have to rush into drafting a quarterback in the first round. Instead, they could let the draft board play out and focus on picking the best player available, whether it's an elite defender, a top-tier offensive lineman, or another key position of need. Of course, the team still needs to think long-term. Even with Stafford, it would be smart to draft a young quarterback at some point, whether this year or next, to develop and eventually take over. But for now, Stafford could be the bridge to stability at the position. So, what's the reality of this situation? Personally, I still think a Stafford to Raiders trade is a long shot. The most likely scenario? He stays in L.A. The Rams allowing his agent to explore trade options seems more like a negotiation tactic than a serious move. They're probably testing the market, trying to gauge his value before heading back to the bargaining table. But here's the twist. What if they can't reach an agreement? That's when things get interesting. If Stafford suddenly becomes available, have to consider making a move. Now, I want to hear from you, Raider Nation. Do you think Stafford would be a good fit? Should the team make a move for him, or focus on other areas? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And, hey, if you love breaking Raiders news and NFL discussions, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. I'll see you in the next one.